What if I told you that Blackbeard would become the Pirate King before Luffy? How would that make you feel? Would you believe it? Would you see the possibilities? Because the possibilities are there. We're going to talk about that and more today as we discuss the dueling fates of Monkey D. Luffy and Marshall D. Teach.
What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Savage. Hey everybody, welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm Randy Troy, and today we're going to talk about the man who bears my middle name, Marshall D. Teach, aka Blackbeard. The man with more W's than a hyperlink, the potential future Pirate King, and a man who has a light shining down on him that he and his crew would call fate. All right, sometimes referred to as destiny. We're talking about the development of events believed to be caused by a supernatural power beyond a person's control. We're going to be looking at this mostly through the lens of Blackbeard and his crew, because if you look at any scene that Blackbeard and his crew is in, there's like a 90% chance that someone's going to bring up the concept of fate. But it's impossible to talk about Blackbeard's fate without also recognizing Luffy's fate and the parallels between both characters throughout the story. You go back to Jaya, the very first time that we're introduced to Blackbeard, Oda deliberately, very obviously, put Luffy and Blackbeard side by side. Luffy doesn't like the pie, Blackbeard loves the pie. Luffy loves the soda, Blackbeard does not like the soda. It's very on the nose, but it sets it up perfectly. Beyond that, Blackbeard believes that there is some sort of outside force. He has a chip on his shoulder, directing him through his life. He knows something, and he believes himself to be the avatar of what that knowledge is. Whether that's that he's the one who's going to get the One Piece or anything like that. Whereas Luffy is all about free will. Right? To make a Terminator reference, there is no fate but what we make for ourselves. John Connor and Sarah Connor believe that they can change the future even though there are Terminators coming after them trying to kill them, right? If they believed that Judgment Day was preordained, then they would sit there and let the Terminators kill them, right? But instead they truly believe that they can put the power into their own hands, stop the Terminators, and stop Judgment Day. Luffy doesn't care about fate. He doesn't care about this preordained message. He doesn't care about what's on the poneglyphs. He doesn't care about Joy Boy or anything like that, or anybody becoming the avatar of these things and restoring the world. He just wants to be free. That's it. Whereas Blackbeard is a planner, he's a schemer, he's somebody that, thanks to SPSs and Fever cards and things, has an affinity for archaeology, like Robin. Blackbeard is an extremely enigmatic character, and it is precisely that je ne sais quoi that he has that just allows people to want to jump in and really understand what his motives are, right? This guy was a planner. He sat in camouflage on the Whitebeard pirates waiting for that moment just to come across something like the Yami Yami no Mi, right? To strike at Whitebeard. To become a warlord so that he can infiltrate Impel Down and emulate rocks by establishing this amazing group of pirates so that he can truly turn the world upside down. Everything that he has done has gone well and right for him. Magellan, just as easily as he washed Luffy, wipes out the entire Blackbeard pirates in an instant. What happens? Shiryu shows up with the antidote. Blackbeard gets up, shrugs it all off. Fate saves us again. His whole crew just eats it up, like the Impel Down prisoners eat up everything that Buggy says. They're just like, Everywhere we go, there is a shining star aimed on this man. That's why we're following him. Fate shines on him. But there's a fate that shines on Luffy as well. Blackbeard even calls it out. He says, but fate was kind to you, because I was after you. But Ace took your spot, so I guess there's a different role for you in this story. Van Augur says there are no coincidences, only fate. Doc Q once again admires Luffy's luck. He goes to apprehend Luffy so that he can use him instead of Ace as well. The knock-up stream saves him. He wants to head to Water 7 to get Luffy, and that's when Ace shows up to Bonaro Island. Lafitte uses hypnotism to keep the gates of justice open anytime a battleship comes through. And what does Luffy end up on? A battleship that comes into Marineford. So he doesn't get trapped in the triangle. Luffy has benefited from Blackbeard's fate as well. And that's an interesting parallel. I know that a lot of people don't like this idea of Luffy being the chosen one. Even Luffy doesn't like the idea of being the chosen one. But the prophecies of chosen one-ism and all of that are inside of One Piece. And, that's why I believe that it's very possible that we may see in the story that Blackbeard becomes the Pirate King before Luffy. That he gets to Laugh Tale before Luffy. Robin is the key to it all, right? So Blackbeard at some point is going to need Robin. And it's very interesting that Kuzan is a part of the Blackbeard Pirates now, right? Now, I believe that this is exactly the same situation as Drake is a part of the Kaido Pirates, and that Kuzan never left the Marines, and that he's a part of Sword. For more of my thoughts on Sword, check out the Sword video. Still feel that Garp is at the top of it. Kuzan's whole mission is to just keep an eye on Blackbeard, right? But this primes us for a perfect opportunity, say if Blackbeard ever kidnaps Robin, or gets Robin via a Davy backfight, right? Because we know that there are inversions all throughout the story. And we haven't seen the inversion of the Davy backfight yet. We saw a fun one, we need to see a serious one. So if Blackbeard shows up and is like, you know what, I don't want to fight you guys. Pulls out 3 coins and says, well, why don't we have a Davy backfight? Because I want Nico Robin, right? But maybe he cheats. We know that there's this whole Davy Jones curse and all this stuff, right? What if Blackbeard actually activates that curse, and that's what ruins his fate, right? Pulls the shining star off of him and points it somewhere else. I think that something like that is very possible. But if Blackbeard is able to get his hands on Robin, that gives us an opportunity for Kuzan to save her, to protect her, which we've seen him do in the past. Could we see a situation where Kuzan feels so bad about Saul that Kuzan sacrifices himself for Robin? Either way, it's just like Whitebeard said. He said that in the future, someday, a man will appear, bearing the weight of centuries' history on his shoulders to challenge the world. But he looks at Blackbeard and he says, that man ain't you. You're not the one that Roger was waiting for, right? So there is some sort of fate. There is some sort of predetermined destiny. And we see this in Wano too. That 800 years from now, someone is going to come and this is the stuff that's all on the poneglyphs. 9 shadows will be cast on a moonlit night. Toki's prophecy. There's so many things, there's so many layers of fate throughout the story. And we have a character like Beige that says, hey, Katakuri, you may see a couple seconds into the future. But all of us have the power to change that, right? And Katakuri kind of falls into the same idea that Blackbeard does, where since he could see so far into the future, he's just like, everything just seems like fate to him and seems predetermined. But that's what the whole Luffy and Katakuri fight was about in the first place. Was Luffy trying to take control of his own free will. That there is no such thing as fate. You can see into the future, right? Well, I'm going to beat that. And that's going to be Luffy's big obstacle with Blackbeard as well. But to conclude everything, it all boils down to Marshall de-teach, not being the one Roger was waiting for. During Marineford, Whitebeard met Luffy and finally understood what Roger told him. See, Luffy is the person Roger was waiting for. We all, can assume that for ourselves. Whether Luffy wants to be that person or not. Whether we as consumers of this story want him to be the chosen one or not. He might just be exactly that. To Luffy, being the Pirate King is to be the freest on the seas, but once he becomes that, he'll realize that he'll never truly be free unless the rest of the world is, or, to get more in character, selfishly, at least until his friends and crew are, right? This will then activate the epilogue of the story where Luffy feeds into his fate as the prophesized bringer of freedom, 800 years in the making, as he challenges the world government for true change. Blackbeard doesn't need to play a role in this fight thematically. His role could be completed at Laugh Tale or before the final war, unless his goals align with what we have been told of Xebec. True chaos. There are three things that cannot be stopped, right? Inherited will, a man's dream, and the flow of time. If Blackbeard inherited Xebec's will, then it's possible that he too wants to destroy the Celestials and the world government. And getting to Laugh Tale is only a part of that. What if Luffy never becomes the Pirate King? But Blackbeard does. And by the time the final war is over, there's no point in being the king of anything because there's no world government and everybody is free. So Luffy would realize that what he ultimately wanted is pointless now. That everybody is already free of oppression, including himself and his friends. The prophecy wins in the end, and the question of was fate inescapable, much like the ending of Inception, will be left to the reader. The chosen one completes what he was chosen to do while believing he had the agency and free will all along. And the one who believed he was chosen learns the harsh truth that he wasn't the one the world was waiting for at all. For the rest of the video, I want to talk about different theories that the community has in regards to Blackbeard, ones that I like, ones that I don't like. Let's debunk a few, ones that have been around for many years. Here we go. A big popular theory in the community right now came out because of my guy Threevil, Triple Threevil. He's been rocking with the channel since before we had even 500 subs. I remember him commenting. So I'm glad to see that he's getting some notoriety for his video on Blackbeard's already eaten an octopus fruit theory, right, or a kraken fruit. Since there's so much Shintoism involved in One Piece, I wouldn't be surprised if Blackbeard is shown to have already eaten the Tako no Mi octopus model Akuro Kamui, a gigantic octopus-like monster equivalent to the Nordic kraken. So I could see, Oda drawing from that, right? It should be noted that shrines in dedication to the Akuro Kamui and associated octopus deities are found all throughout Japan. Now, anybody that watches the streams or asks me questions about Blackbeard, they'll know that I've always said that Blackbeard has already eaten the fruit, because my headcanon is that he needed a fruit to be able to eat the other two fruits that he has. The theory of Blackbeard having three fruits has been around since we saw his pirate flag, right, with the three skulls. Well, at least by Marineford, when he ate the second fruit, then it was like, okay, well now he's got to have a Zoan. Is he going to come to Wano? Is he going to get Kaido's fruit? Is he going to take Marco's fruit? And I was like, he already ate a Zoan. I don't know what it is, but it had to, had to be something that has the property to allow him to eat the other fruits. Popular theories in the past was the Hellhound, Cerberus. We saw one of these in Thriller Bark. 3 heads, right? That's the whole point of a Cerberus. It has 3 heads, so you feed a fruit to each head. That was, there was merit to that. So a hippo fruit. Hippos have 3 stomachs. That even, got some more traction when recently Oda did a cover page. Blackbeard brushing his teeth next to a hippo brushing their teeth. And everybody's like, you see, the hippo fruit theory. But it just seemed like a troll from Oda. Octopuses have 3 hearts, right? And Oda has shown us that the heart is connected to the soul via law. When he switches the hearts out, it's switching the souls. The body and the mind is attached to the heart. So that's why I like this octopus theory a lot more than, say, the hippo with the stomachs or with the Cerberus with the heads. But the idea that there are multiple souls and all of that, that's some sort of like wacky stuff that we haven't actually seen in the story yet, so it would be absurd. But I didn't realize this. For some reason in my head, it was 3 heads, 9 crossbones on Blackbeard's flag. I don't think I ever actually counted them. There's 8.
Next time, you'll wonder how many legs an octopus has.
Yeah?
You look at the 8.
Octopus has 8 legs. The octopus has 8 legs.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which lends so much credence to this octopus theory that it's my headcanon now. Other than the fact that when you look at post-time skip Blackbeard's design, which I did later, the flag on his hat only has 6 crossbones. So I don't know about all of that, but I'm still leaning towards this, right? Another interesting thing to note is that Blackbeard has made his home base Hachinoso Island, right? And the root word in Hachinoso is Hachi, which means 8 in Japanese. Blackbeard's an octopus. Oh, Blackbeard's an octopus.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Other fun things to remember about Hachinoso is that it was the home base for the Rocks pirates and was known as a pirate's paradise where the Davy Back fights began, further tying Blackbeard to this idea that he will be the inversion of the Davy Back fight and potentially play into the Davy Jones curse. Just the imagery of an octopus, of a kraken alone. You know, I love what my man said when he said the darkness was like ink. You know, and then I started thinking about a giant kraken, giant octopus, banging the tentacles, creating earthquakes also, while the ink is spreading out. The imagery of that just sold everything for me. I want to take a minute to talk about the color spread for chapter 703. All right, you have the crew standing on top of a dinghy, Chopper and Usopp crying. There's a giant octopus in the background. Okay, now there is a precedence in the story for the color spreads to foreshadow future events. Okay, we've even seen this as recently, you know, as chapter 1023, calling back to chapter 310. So in this situation, this is also pulling from the end of Threeville's video, where he was talking about an idea that he had that Blackbeard jumps into the water, rises as a kraken, surrounds the Thousand Sunny, and like damages it or destroys it. I love that. Let's take it even further. Okay, who's missing in this color spread? Okay, 1, Frankie. Okay, imagine that situation, but Frankie isn't there to fix the ship for whatever reason. Maybe he's out of commission. Who knows? Also missing, Robin, who we know is the key to everything in Laugh Tale. Let's turn it up another notch. What if this situation was on the way to Laugh Tale, right? Blackbeard and Luffy, neck and neck, almost there, and then he pulls this. But beyond that, it explains why Blackbeard probably has a log raft boat. What do you care about enclosures and all of that if you can swim? If you're not afraid of the water? Talking about the log raft for a minute, right? We know that is now called the Saber of Zebek, which ties to Rocksteady Zebek, the God Valley incident. Blackbeard was 1.5, 2 years old, you know, somewhere around there when that happened. He could have been on God Valley. There's plenty of theories about a connection between Zebek and Blackbeard. Is Blackbeard, you know, the inheritor of Zebek's will? I do think that it's very possible that Blackbeard has Zebek's logbook. I may know about the history because it's my own headcanon that Zebek did know the true history of the world. For more information on that, you can go and check out my video on Rocks and Kaido. We know that Blackbeard is knowledgeable of devil fruits, right? He knew precisely what the Yami Yami no Mi looked like because, you know, he read it in the encyclopedia. We know that Sanji also had the same book, and that's why he knew about the invisibility fruit. I think that prior to even getting on the ship with Whitebeard in the Odin flashback, he had already eaten this octopus, kraken, devil fruit now. Like, that's where my headcanon's going. And please do check out my man's video. I'll have it linked below. I love the points about camouflage. I love the points about ink. I love the idea that, you know, if we come back to this, to Jaya and Skypiea later, there's that parallel of an octopus chasing the crew and then them coming down from Skypiea thanks to an octopus. So there's like some interesting things there. But then you go back to even Marineford and you have that scene with Marco where he's talking about how Teach's body was always different, right? But you go to the panel next to it when you see Karma, who is an affiliate of the Whitebeard Pirates, and he's like, how can it be possible to eat 2 fruits? Meanwhile, the guy has an octopus on his head. This guy was also in the Odin flashback. That's just sort of like an imagery thing that, you know, is very possible. But you know, there's a lot to this. I'm not claiming this. This is their theory and all of that, and I'm sure other people in the past have brought it up as well. But you know, the way the Threevil you know, presented it was really nice. Another thing that I see get brought up a lot is Blackbeard's teeth. All right, if you go throughout the story, pretty much any panel you ever see of Blackbeard, he's got a different number of teeth. And a lot of people have taken this to mean that there are different people living inside Blackbeard, that he's got multiple souls, he's got different personalities, and that they come out here and there. Unfortunately, considering that Oda has also drawn Crocodile with a hand and given Zoro Luffy's scar and, you know, different things like that, I don't actually trust this. I just think that this is possibly Oda forgetting how many teeth Blackbeard is supposed to have and is just having fun. If this ends up being the case, hey, cool, amazing foreshadowing. One thing that I just want everybody to stop pointing at is the page in Jaya when Nami says, who is he? And Luffy and Zoro say, it's not he, it's they, right? And everybody wants to point at this. It's like, this is the 3 souls, this is this is that, this is that. Okay, no.
Savage.
At the beginning of Jaya, we are introduced to Doc Q, to Van Augur, to Jesus Burgess. Luffy and Zoro met most of these people as they were walking through, right? Doc Q gave them the apple and all of that. Luffy and Zoro do not have omniscient X-ray vision hockey where they're able to look at Blackbeard and be like, you know what, there's 3 guys in there. No. But they are able to recognize that these key people here are under him. And they is in reference to Blackbeard as a pirate captain of a competent crew. That's it. There's no deeper meaning to that they other than he is a pirate and he has a crew, and they acknowledge that. That's it. I had fun doing this. A lot of people have asked me to do a Blackbeard video for a long time, in particular Galaxy Vita. You're the most vocal. But all in all, I think that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope that this video helped contextualize or recontextualize Blackbeard in a different way for you. Hope that I brought something new to the table. Subscribe for more content like this in the future. Like for the algorithm and keep the conversation going in the comments. I've been Randy Troy, and I'll see you later.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.